afternoon. On today's year-end edition of This is the Midwest, the Harris Trust and Savings Bank proudly presents a special progress report, a forecast and review of Chicago and the Midwest. Our number one forecaster will be Chicago's mayor, the Honorable Richard J. Daley. You will also meet other leading Chicago officials. They will bring you a behind-the-scenes report of great interest to all of us. And now, as every Sunday at this time, your host, Fahey Flynn.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is a day for taking inventory and for looking ahead. We have a fascinating story to tell about the most fascinating city of the world, our own town, Chicago. Before we begin that story, here is Frank Reynolds.
Have you seen the new January issue of Fortune magazine? Well, as always, the first issue of the new year deals with American business forecasts and gets a great deal of attention from business and industrial leaders all over the country. That's why the Harris Trust and Savings Bank chose this issue to carry its latest message about the tremendous opportunities for American business here in Chicago. In this Harris ad, we quote some facts gathered by Chicago's and our own Mr. Thomas Coulter that we're sure will make American businessmen sit up and take notice. We want them to have the facts that prove Chicago's increasing importance to their future plans, because we at the Harris believe, with Mr. Coulter and other Chicago leaders, that our city is destined to become the world's greatest city. This leadership also carries with it a real responsibility. All of us and the firms we represent have a stake in telling the world about Chicago's growth and future, not with big, high-sounding talk, but with facts. And we have plenty of facts to encourage others to believe that Chicago is the place where they can grow. When you want to know more about Chicago, come to the Harris Trust and Savings Bank, 115 West Monroe, between Clark and LaSalle. And now, here is the Chief Executive Officer of the Chicago Association of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Thomas H. Coulter.
Welcome and good afternoon. This year, Chicago and its metropolitan area has completed its greatest year of growth and prosperity in history. New records have been established in almost every line of commerce and industry, and right now, Chicago is the most rapidly growing city in the United States. All this growth and prosperity, however, brings with it many corollary success problems. Problems relating to our schools, our highways, our public transportation, our hospitals, and a great variety of other public functions. To give us a peek into the future, things to come today, we have a very distinguished group of civic leaders on our panel this afternoon. The Honorable Richard J. Daley, the Mayor of Chicago, the Honorable Dan Ryan, the President of the County Board, Dr. Benjamin Willis, the Superintendent of Chicago Public Schools, and Mr. William Dundas, the General Superintendent of the Metropolitan Sanitary District of Greater Chicago. With them, we hope to see many fascinating things that will make Chicago the finest city in the country in which to work, to live, and to conduct business. And now, to take us on our trip into the future, here is Fahey Flynn.
I wonder if you've ever had the opportunity to visit with Mayor Daley at his office in City Hall. Well, if you have, you're one of the fortunate ones in Chicago. For those of you who haven't, through the magic of television this afternoon, we have arranged just such a visit. So come with us now, if you will, through the magic of television to the office of our Mayor, Richard Daley. Mr. Mayor, it's awfully nice of you to spend this Sunday afternoon with us.
Glad to see you.
And we're happy that you're able to take this time from your very busy schedule, because I bet you that 1956 has been one of the busiest years that you've had in a long time.
Yes, it has, Fahey, and it takes many people to do the job for Chicago's local governments as well as Chicagoland government. So I'm happy to be here with you and these other gentlemen to discuss with the people of our community some of the problems that they should know more about.
I suspect that getting the word across to the citizens of Chicago is one of your real problems, isn't it?
It really is, and I think this is an excellent program, and I think we should do more and more of bringing the people in to see what governmental bodies are doing.
That's what we propose to do this afternoon, so why don't we visit in the conference room now with the other distinguished gentlemen with us this afternoon and get the full story of Chicagoland's progress.
Happy to do it.
Fine, sir.
I should like now to introduce our other distinguished guest this afternoon. On my left first is Mr. William Dundas, the General Superintendent of the Sanitary District, and Mr. Dan Ryan, the President of the County Board, and Dr. Benjamin Willis, the superintendent of the Chicago Public School System. Hello, Mayor. Will you sit here, sir?
How are you, Thomas? Thank you.
Gentlemen, we're certainly pleased that you were all able to join the party this afternoon on This is the Midwest.
Great pleasure to be with you, Fahey.
And I think we'll begin by, looking backwards, shall we say, to 1956. It was a tremendous year. Mr. Mayor, let's start with you. When you look back at 1956, what are the outstanding things, accomplishments that stick in your mind as things that your administration accomplished?
I would say, Fahey, it was the restoration and rebuilding of the spirit of Chicago among the people and the various citizens. It was also the stepped-up program of having more police and firemen in the neighborhoods and the communities to make them better neighborhoods and better communities. It was the stepped-up sanitation and cleanup program of our alleys and our streets. It was the program in connection with the health of our people. You'll recall sometime in June there was a polio scare. And I want to say right here that it was a great tribute to the Dr. Bundesen, to the health department, to the medical societies, to the hospitals and the nurses. President Ryan and his staff, for Dr. Willis and the schools, for the kind of cooperation and teamwork. 750,000 children received vaccine shots in this great drive, and what looked to be a major health epidemic for Chicago was successfully met. We had great programs in connection with the opening of what is destined to be the great airport of the future, O'Hara Airport. In that, we hope planes will come from the capitals of all the world. We have plans for developments in our expressways and highways in cooperation with the county, and one of the outstanding things was, my opinion, to make Northwest Highway a freeway instead of a toll road, which was originally contemplated.
Well, that's a noble list of accomplishments indeed. One of the exciting things that the national magazines are beginning to talk about, insofar as the police department of Chicago is concerned, Mr. Mayor, is your roving squad. What do you call it, your mobile squad?
It's called the Mobile Task Force.
And I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about this idea.
Well, it was an idea conceived by the Commissioner of Police and his staff. It's composed of 200 uniformed men, 75 three-wheel motorcycles, squad cars, and the idea is to saturate a neighborhood or community with police protection and police observation. We have found that it's done a tremendous job in reducing crime in the various communities and neighborhoods of Chicago, and after all, that's what the police department of Chicago is striving to do, and I think that's the great function of a police department in the prevention of crime, as well as in the apprehension of criminals after crime has been committed.
Well, Mr. Mayor, we're going to be taking a look ahead with you in just a moment, but I want to hear from some of the other gentlemen here. Mr. Dundas represents an organization which has had a tremendous expansion in 1956. You practically, would you say, doubled your area, Mr. Dundas?
Yes, we have. We have taken in 400 and some square miles additional over what we previously had. As a matter of fact, we now include practically all of Cook County, as you will see from the map. The original boundaries of the district started up here at the Lake County line and extended down along the DuPage County line and across through here and practically the Indiana border. That contained approximately 500 and some square miles. The new territory, which was voted in on November 7th, is this area shown with the red line around, and also this section down here.
What are those heavy dark lines on
The
the map?
heavy dark lines are the present interceptors. As you know, the district operates through approximately 104 municipalities, and its function is to pick up the sewage and waste from each of those areas, and it is brought through these large interceptors into centrally located treatment plants where it is treated.
I think the size of that interceptor system of yours is really something. The picture that you have that indicates the size of the tunnels that run around this town of ours. Certainly surprised me.
Well,
would you
we
show us that
have
one?
we have quite a network of them, over 225 miles. This particular section, which you see here, is one on the south side of the city of Chicago. It is 18 feet wide and 20 feet high, and is quite typical of what we construct all through the district. And incidentally, while I mention that, that is contributory to the Racine Avenue pumping station in the city of Chicago, or approximately Racine Avenue and 39th Street. We, in that station, have, present time, 4 pumping units capable of handling 375 cubic feet of water per second. We are adding 6 more units to them, which will help Mayor Daley in his problem with the south side drainage.
That's right. You know, I noticed this publication of the sanitary district, which you put out in 1956, I believe, in which the Metropolitan Sanitary District of Chicago was called the 7th Wonder of America. And I think there's a lot of truth in that statement. The mayor probably agree with you. The story of the reversal of the flow of the river many years ago, there must have been some great thought involved in developing this system.
Well, yes, that dates back quite a ways. If we go way back, it probably dates from 1885. In 1885, Chicago had a population of probably 750,000, or slightly less than a million. They had one of the worst storms of all time. And Chicago's sewers at that time ran directly into the lake and also into the Chicago River, which of course discharged into the lake. And when these heavy storms came along, this sludge and accumulated material was washed out into the lake, and of course at that time the water intake stations were close to the shore. In that storm in 1885 created a terrific typhoid epidemic. And the people were so in such a terrific state of mind that they demanded that something be done about it. Well, of course, the legislature then authorized the creation of what is known as the Sanitary District of Chicago.
That was the start of this great system.
That was the start.
Well, I think that over the years, the progress has been positive, and you're probably correct in calling it the 7th Wonder of America. Now, Mr. Ryan has had a busy year, too. Many things have happened in the county area in 1956. Mr. Ryan, what, in your mind, is the outstanding accomplishment in the county section?
Well, before I make that statement, I think Bill might give us a little relief out in the unincorporated areas on this
Well, Dan,
stormwater. He's got all the money and all the territory now, so
I think
But
you
the-
got the money.
but the ramifications and diversities of the Cook County government is so big, and nobody knows it better than our mayor here, who used to be our controller, that in the short time that we have, it'll be hard to go into all the activities we have, especially at the county hospital, where we just completed a $13 million rehabilitation program in an Oak Forest, where we were recognized here the other day as a general hospital. That may not mean anything to you, but Oak Forest used to be the poorhouse in the country. Now it's one of the outstanding hospitals there, and we have about 2,600 geriatric patients at Cook County, where a few of the things that we're very proud of are a blood bank. We have an eye bank over there, and a bone and an artery bank. And with this Hectone Institute that's headed by a couple of great men, and Dr. Carl Meyer and Sam Hoffman, they are going a long way in research, especially of cancer. And that money is all raised by private subscription. We can't appropriate any money for research. But we in the county, especially the whole county board, have worked with Mayor Daley on his road program. Most of them are joint projects with the city, county, and state. Northwest Highway, which I think is compliment to the mayor that he insisted that it be a freeway and that we have mass transportation on the Northwest Highway. When he was elected mayor, he went to work on that together with the county board, and we finally got it accomplished. It was a tremendous task. We had to get 66 2/3% consent of the bondholders in order for us to build it as a freeway. But it's over the dam now, and it'll be built very soon.
Great accomplishment indeed. Insofar as your own personal accomplishments are concerned, Mr. Ryan, this bicycle school, bicycle club training
Well,
program
that's
of yours,
under
really
our
something.
highway department. We have 80,000 young people that belong to this bicycle club. And there hasn't been one accident as far as the bicycle is concerned in the county.
It's a picture of some of the training that
Can you get it?
Yes, you got a shot of that.
And these kids are very, very proud of their accomplishments
They
out
should
there.
make very fine automobile drivers
They
in the
should,
years to
because
come.
the death rate that we've been hearing about over radio and television,
We need some training. While we're on that subject, I think we'll bring in Dr. Willis at this point. Doctor, with our expanding population, I guess there's no rest at all for people in education, is there?
Well, this is, as a holiday week, is the time when most people are relaxed. For myself and my associates, it is a time when we're busy night and day, taking a look at what we worked at last year and what we expect to emphasize during the coming year. You know, as of last September, the first week of school, we absorbed some 15,000 additional children. That means that we had to create within a year a school system for a city of approximately 150,000. It means that we have to do that every year between January and January in terms of facilities, staff, and all the management policies. But we are busy at a number of things, such as new buildings, trying to get them out on the main street, so there can be an opportunity for children, their parents, and citizens generally to feel a sense of pride in their school as a part of the public operation of government, and where the building will appear to be friendly, not only from inside the classroom, but outside. Of course, I think we're also pleased what's happened with our summer schools. A second year that they've been operated on a free basis. It's interesting to note that employment of teachers and the 12-month use of buildings, last year's operation was equivalent to the full use of a $3 million building for 1 year serving 2,100 people, or students. There are many other items which we do have considerable pride in, such as the $205,000 we've received from foundations to do experimental work, and a larger sum in the offing for next year, in order that we may know more about some of our own problems and have something to contribute to those in other cities or other school districts. Of course, we're always attempting to get our schools closer to people. That's the point of our district reorganization, so that the parents of children and other citizens will feel a nearness to the program of education and an interest in it. Of course, I don't want to fail to mention the new school that we've recently opened 1 year ahead of time. I refer to the Dunbar Vocational School, which was scheduled for completion in September 1957 and used for the first time at that date, but we moved in June 1956, and is now serving some 1,800 pupils, although it isn't quite finished, in the day school and an equal number of citizens in the evening.
You have had a busy year, Dr. Willis.
We all keep fairly busy.
And Tom Coulter, who speaks for the business community, has been busy too. The Association of Commerce never rests. And Tom, what are your plans for 1956?
Well, Fay, the biggest problem that we've got to solve in the years immediately ahead is to try and keep up with this fabulous growth that we've been enjoying. Just to give you some idea of the new job creation that is going on in the Chicago area, by 1960 we'll need over 500,000 new workers in the area. We expect that within the next 5 years, our population will increase by another 1 million people. By 1960, the Chicago area will have 7 million people in it. And we're only growing people at the rate of about 1/4 of our needs, so within the next 5 years, we'll have to import about 400,000 new workers into the area. And this, of course, has a great requirement for all kinds of public works and improved services. And so great is our growth and progress right now, as the nation's most rapidly growing community, in fact, that we are going to publish next June, at the time of the Chicagoland Fair, this new book about Chicago called Chicago's New Horizons. And in this, we're planning to show what Chicago will look and be about 10 years from now. I think it'll be a fascinating documentary report on Chicago.
Well, gentlemen, we've taken a pretty good look at 1956. Now suppose we cast our sights ahead and take a look at 1957. Tom, each Sunday afternoon on This is the Midwest, presented by the Harris Trust and Savings Bank, we've been referring to this expansion that is such a factor in your thinking. Why don't you take over the 1957 story and get some idea of what these men have in mind?
Well, Fay, one of the big problems for 1957 is to improve our transportation services in the Chicago metropolitan area, because we just can't continue to grow at our present rate unless we are more efficient in the movement of people. And I think we have underway now probably the most extensive and dramatic highway building program in the country. And I'd like to hear Mayor Daley tell us about the progress on the Calumet Skyway and some of these other new highways that we're working on.
Well, Tom, there isn't any doubt but what the expressway superhighway program has been moving along in a speeded up fashion through the help and cooperation of the president of the county board as well as the state officials. We have attempted to initiate contracts whereby construction work would be done not on an 8-hour basis, but 16 and 24 hours where possible. But while we're talking about the expressways and highways, all of us must be deeply concerned. The expressways and highways are only one point in this great movement of traffic, that along with it must come a system of preferential streets within the city of Chicago, whereby you can feed these expressways and superhighways and in some measure speed the traffic of the people from one community to another, which is just as important as these great expressways and superhighways, because it's estimated that 80% of the people going through the city of Chicago will never use an expressway or superhighway. So the city of Chicago at the present time is conducting a study of preferential street systems, which we hope to present within the next 30 or 40 days, showing what the city of Chicago will look like in the future with streets such as Western Avenue, State Street, Ashland Avenue, feeding into the various expressways throughout the entire city. In your comment of transportation, undoubtedly all of us recognize one of the main fundamentals of a urban community is good, modern, up-to-date transportation. The CTA, which was created some years ago, was intended to provide that. I think all of us recognize the fact that the CTA has tried with its very limited facilities and without proper financial assistance. At the present time, we're thinking about transportation beyond the city limits. We're thinking about metropolitan transportation, which the CTA envisioned at the time the legislation was passed. And we also must be honest with ourselves that unless the CTA has some means of financing with subsidy and with finances, they can't do the job that has to be done for the people of Chicago. I'm convinced, with the help of the county and the state, that the CTA will be given the necessary financing in order that they might do a great job.
We have an integrated transportation system in the Chicagoland area.
That's right.
This brings Mr. Ryan back into the picture here because actually, while you operate as a separate entity, the city of Chicago and Cook County really have to work very closely together.
We work in close cooperation with the mayor. As I mentioned before, mass transportation is very important to us. Also, the streets that Dick mentioned in Chicago is to getting the people where they want to go to. And that has been overlooked, but I think the situation is corrected now that we will be able to take care of our own people in Chicago together with our superhighways.
Right. What about looking ahead insofar as the schools are concerned with this growing population, Dr. Willis?
Well, I think the world's greatest city needs the world's greatest school system. This means from kindergarten through our teacher's college, where we go even a year beyond a bachelor's degree in some areas. This means more facilities, more staff. This means that we find ways to better each year, or to do better each year, many things, including releasing all the creative talent of all the children, youth, and even the adults who come to us in some phase of our program. And certainly it means that we should say at this time that the television stations, programs such as yours, Mr. Flynn, radio and newspapers are helping us tremendously in this task, which we have to carry forward.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Dundas, your organization is so well established now. Do you have anything that you can possibly plan ahead?
Well, I think we have plenty to plan ahead. Matter of fact, we have plans for a lot of the area around Chicago, and the only thing which holds us from carrying those plans through is matters of finance and possibly some legal decisions. Some cases it may require additional legislation to bring them about. But we are working on them very rapidly.
Fine, fine. Well, Mr. Mayor, this is quite a team that you're a member of, operating in the Chicagoland area, and it's certainly a real pleasure to have you gentlemen here to make your report to the people of Chicago.
Thank you. We're very happy to be here, Fahey.
And I want to take a moment for those of us at WBBM TV to thank you very much for coming down, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Dundas, Mr. Ryan, and Superintendent Willis.
Thank Tom Calder.
I shall. And before we bring Tom Calder back to tell us about our program for next week, here is Frank Reynolds.
In just a few hours, we'll all be welcoming the arrival of 1957. We'll start off with a fresh calendar, lots of good intentions. And as we've been hearing today, the knowledge that Chicago faces a brilliant future. 1957 holds something extra for the folks at the Harris, because on next May 1st, they'll celebrate the organization's 75th anniversary. Now just think how Chicago has grown since 1882, and the Harris right along with it. That's why in our 75th anniversary year, we probably won't find much time to dwell on our age. We'll be too busy working with the people and the industries whose progress we've been privileged to help through the years. From the 1,200 people who serve you at the Harris, from our hundreds of correspondent banks all over the country, our thanks for your confidence in us and our warmest wishes for your good health and prosperity in 1957. The way it looks to us, the new year will be a big one for you, for Chicago, and the Midwest.
Next week, our guest will be Mr. Charles M. Hines, the president of the Hines Lumber Company, and our special guest, Russell J. Humbert, the president of DePaul University from Indiana. Before wishing you a happy new year, I'd like to suggest that you drive carefully the next 3 or 4 days so that you too can enjoy all the happiness and prosperity that can be yours in the new year. So until next week at the same time, good afternoon and Happy New Year to you.
This is the Midwest is brought to you each week at this time by the Harris Trust and Savings Bank, Chicago, a member of the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. In cooperation with the Chicago Association of Commerce and Industry, This is the Midwest is a CBS television production.